In the summer of 1930, Albert Einstein, a man who had already bent the very fabric of reality with his mind, sought solace in his retreat near Potsdam, Germany, a haven known as Caput, a place where he found peace sailing on the Havel lakes. He was 51 years young, already a legend, having revolutionized physics and become the most famous scientist on Earth. But in the stillness of that summer, he penned something different, something that wasn't a scientific paper. It was a deeply personal credo. He called it My Personal Creed, or as some translate it, What I Believe. The opening lines. They're among the most haunting Einstein ever wrote. He said, "Strange is our situation here upon Earth. Each of us comes for a short visit, not knowing why, yet sometimes seeming to divine a purpose." Read those words again. Not knowing why, yet sometimes seeming to divine a purpose. This isn't the voice of a man who has all the answers. This is the voice of a man who dedicated his life to unraveling the mathematical mysteries of the cosmos, and yet remains mystified by the most fundamental question of all. Why are we here? What is the point of existence? If the universe operates according to blind mathematical laws, with no consciousness guiding it, no grand design, no inherent purpose etched into its very structure, then why does life exist at all? And why does anything exist? This is the paradox that Einstein wrestled with, and today I'm going to share with you what he discovered. The question appears simple on the surface. If the universe lacks purpose, why does life exist? But the deeper you delve, the stranger it becomes. Think about what physics reveals about the universe. The cosmos is roughly 13.8 billion years old. It's home to an estimated 2 trillion galaxies. Each galaxy harbors hundreds of billions of stars. The total number of stars in the observable universe is staggering, estimated at 200 billion trillion. That's a 2 followed by 23 zeros. A number so vast it defies comprehension. And yet, as far as we know, life exists on only one small planet, orbiting one ordinary star, in one unremarkable galaxy. Earth, this pale blue dot, this tiny speck in the cosmic void. Why here? Why at all? The traditional religious explanation is that God created life for a purpose, that God designed the universe so that conscious beings could exist, know Him, and worship Him. Life isn't an accident, it's the centerpiece of creation. But Einstein didn't subscribe to that kind of God. He made this abundantly clear throughout his life. In 1929, when Rabbi David Cohen sent him a telegram inquiring, "Do you believe in God?" Einstein responded with his now famous 27 words, "I believe in the God of Baruch Spinoza, who reveals himself in the lawful harmony of all that exists, but not in a God who concerns himself with the fate and the doings of mankind." The God of Baruch Spinoza. This is the key to unlocking Einstein's answer to the paradox of purpose. Baruch Spinoza, a 17th century Dutch philosopher, was excommunicated from the Jewish community of Amsterdam for his radical ideas. His magnum opus, Ethics, presented a vision of reality that not only scandalized religious authorities of his era, but continues to challenge conventional thinking even today. Spinoza posited that God and nature are one and the same. He called this Deus sive natura, Latin for God or nature. For Spinoza, there is no creator separate from creation. There is no divine being sitting outside the universe, dictating what to make and why. Instead, God is the universe. God is the infinite substance from which everything emerges. God is the laws of physics themselves, the mathematical order that governs every particle and every galaxy. And here's the crucial point. In Spinoza's philosophy, there is no teleology. Teleology is the philosophical term for purpose. or design. Spinoza explicitly rejected the notion that the universe exists for any reason, or that things unfold according to some divine plan. He wrote, "Nature has no goal set before her, and all final causes are but human fictions." This is a profound statement. It implies that when you ask, "Why does life exist?" Spinoza would argue that you're asking the wrong question. Life doesn't exist for any reason. Life simply exists because the laws of nature made it possible. There is no why. There is only how. Einstein wholeheartedly embraced this Spinozan worldview. He believed that the universe operates according to mathematical laws that are beautiful, elegant, and utterly impersonal. The laws are indifferent to us. The laws have no objectives. The laws simply are. This wasn't always Einstein's perspective. As a child growing up in Munich, Germany, he experienced what he later referred to as a religious paradise. Around the age of 12, he became deeply devout. He composed hymns in honor of God. He meticulously observed Jewish dietary laws. He believed in the traditional God of his ancestors, a God who had created the universe with a purpose, who watched over humanity, who rewarded the righteous and punished the wicked. And then, through reading popular science books, Einstein realized that much of what he had been taught in religious school couldn't possibly be true. The Bible's account of creation directly contradicted what scientists had discovered about the age of the earth. The miracles described in Scripture violated the fundamental laws of physics. The world was far older and far stranger than any religious text suggested. Einstein later described what followed as a positively fanatic orgy of free thinking. He lost his childhood faith and never returned to it. But he didn't become a nihilist. Instead, the religious feeling that had once been directed toward the personal God of Abraham was transferred to something entirely different. It was transferred to the mathematical order of nature itself, to what he would later call the God of Baruch Spinoza. So, if Einstein believed in a purposeless universe, how did he make sense of life? How did he find meaning in a cosmos that has no inherent meaning? This is where Einstein's answer becomes truly profound. In his 1930 essay, My Personal Creed, after acknowledging the strangeness of our existence here on Earth, Einstein wrote, "From the standpoint of daily life, however, there is one thing we do know, that man is here for the sake of other men. Man is here for the sake of other men." This is Einstein's response to the paradox of purpose. The universe might lack inherent purpose, but we create purpose through our relationships with each other. He continued, "Above all, for those upon whose smiles and well-being our own happiness depends, and also for the countless unknown souls with whose fate we are connected with a bond of sympathy. Many times a day, I realize how much my own outer and inner life is built upon the labors of my fellow men, both living and dead, and how earnestly I must exert myself in order to give in return as much as I have received." This isn't a depressing philosophy. This isn't nihilism. This is something else altogether. Einstein is saying that the absence of cosmic purpose doesn't equate to the absence of meaning. That purpose can be a collective experience. It means that meaning is something we generate ourselves through love, through service, through connection to other beings. The universe doesn't just hand us meaning on a silver platter. We, ourselves, weave meaning out of our relationships, our actions, and our contributions to others. It's an active process, a creative endeavor. But Albert Einstein went even deeper than this. He recognized that there is something truly miraculous about the fact that the universe can be understood at all. He once wrote, and it's a quote that should resonate with everyone, "The most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it is comprehensible. Think about that statement. Really think about it. There is no logical necessity that the universe should be orderly. There's no guarantee that physical laws should be expressible in simple mathematical equations. There's no reason why a brain that evolved to survive on the African savanna should be capable of understanding quantum mechanics and general relativity. Absolutely none. And yet, it is. The universe is comprehensible. The laws are elegant. The mathematics, it works. It's almost too good to be true. Albert Einstein saw this as a kind of miracle, not a supernatural miracle that violates the laws of physics, but a deep mystery that fills the soul with wonder. The fact that conscious beings can arise in a seemingly purposeless universe and then turn around and understand that universe. This is astonishing. This, in Einstein's words, is the cosmic religious feeling, the very thing that drives us forward. In his 1930 essay, Religion and Science, published in the New York Times Magazine, Albert Einstein described 3 stages of religious development. The first stage is the religion of fear. Primitive humans, confronted by forces they couldn't understand, invented gods to explain thunder, disease, and death. It was about trying to control the uncontrollable. The second stage is the religion of morality. As societies developed, they created gods who enforced moral rules, who rewarded the good and punished the wicked. A system of cosmic justice. But the third stage transcends both fear and morality. Albert Einstein called it the cosmic religious feeling. He wrote, and this is a powerful statement, "The individual feels the futility of human desires and aims, and the sublimity and marvelous order which reveal themselves both in nature and in the world of thought. Individual existence impresses him as a sort of prison, and he wants to experience the universe as a single significant whole." He yearned for something more. This cosmic religious feeling, Albert Einstein said, is what drives the greatest scientists. It's what motivated Johannes Kepler when he discovered the laws of planetary motion, a profound understanding of the cosmos. It's what drove Isaac Newton when he unified the physics of earth and sky, an unparalleled achievement. It's what propelled Albert Einstein himself to spend decades trying to understand the mathematical structure of reality, a quest for truth. And here is the remarkable thing. Albert Einstein found more religious feeling in the pursuit of physics than most people find in churches or temples or synagogues. He wrote, "The cosmic religious feeling is the strongest and noblest motive for scientific research." So Albert Einstein's answer to the paradox of purpose is this: the universe has no purpose in the traditional sense. There's no divine plan. There's no goal set before nature. But this does not mean existence is meaningless. Meaning arises from our connections to each other. Meaning arises from our participation in the cosmic order. Meaning arises from the sheer wonder of being conscious creatures in a comprehensible universe. It's a self-made meaning. But there's more to this story. Modern physics has revealed something that Albert Einstein didn't fully know in 1930. Something that makes the existence of life even more mysterious than he realized. It's called the fine-tuning problem. In the decades since Albert Einstein's death, physicists have discovered that the fundamental constants of nature, the numbers that determine how strong gravity is, how fast light travels, how particles interact, are precisely calibrated to allow life to exist. If any of these constants were slightly different, life as we know it would be impossible. For example, the cosmological constant, which Albert Einstein himself introduced into his equations in 1917, determines the rate at which the universe expands. Steven Weinberg, the Nobel Prize-winning physicist, calculated that If the cosmological constant were only slightly larger than its observed value, the universe would have expanded so rapidly that no stars or galaxies could have formed. No stars means no planets. No planets means no life, period. The observed value of the cosmological constant is approximately 120 orders of magnitude smaller than what particle physics predicts. This has been called the worst prediction in physics, and yet, if it were any other value, we would not be here to measure it. It's an incredible coincidence. Or is it? This is just one example among many. The strength of the strong nuclear force, which holds atomic nuclei together, is precisely calibrated. If it were slightly weaker, only hydrogen would exist in the universe. No carbon, no oxygen, no complex chemistry, no life. If it were slightly stronger, all hydrogen would have been converted to helium in the early universe. No stars would burn. No life could exist. It's a razor's edge. The mass of the electron, the charge of the proton, the ratio of electromagnetic to gravitational forces, all of these numbers fall within narrow ranges that permit life. Change any of them slightly, and the universe becomes sterile, a dead, lifeless expanse. This fine-tuning has led some scientists and philosophers to revive the argument from design. The constants are so precisely calibrated, they argue that there must be a designer behind them, a cosmic intelligence that chose these values so that life could exist, a divine architect. But Albert Einstein would not have accepted this argument. Remember, he believed in the God of Baruch Spinoza, not a personal God who makes choices and designs things. So, how might Albert Einstein have responded to the fine-tuning problem? One possibility is the multiverse. The idea is that our universe is just one of countless universes, each with different values for the fundamental constants. In most of these universes, the constants do not permit life, but in a few, by sheer chance, the constants fall within the range that allows stars and planets and chemistry and consciousness. We find ourselves in one of these rare life-permitting universes because we could not find ourselves anywhere else. This is called the anthropic principle. We are simply the lucky ones. Steven Weinberg, who was influenced by Albert Einstein, has argued that the anthropic principle may be the best explanation for fine-tuning. It doesn't require a designer. It only requires that reality is much larger than we can observe, and that we exist in the part of it where existence is possible, a vast cosmic lottery. Albert Einstein might have appreciated this explanation. It preserves the Spinozan vision of a purposeless cosmos, while accounting for the apparent design we observe. The universe is not designed for us. We simply exist in a corner of reality, where the laws happen to permit our existence, a comforting, if slightly humbling, thought. But there is another way to look at this. Perhaps the very distinction between purpose and purposelessness is a human projection onto a reality that transcends such categories. Albert Einstein himself suggested something like this. In a letter to his friend Max Born in 1944, Albert Einstein penned these words: "You believe in a God who plays dice, and I, in complete law and order, in a world which objectively exists, and which I, in a wildly speculative way, am trying to capture." Einstein believed wholeheartedly that there was a complete law and order underlying reality. He dedicated the last 30 years of his life to searching for a unified field theory, a single mathematical framework capable of explaining all the forces of nature. He never quite found it, but he never stopped believing in its existence. And here lies the question that haunted him. Why does the universe possess this lawful order? Why is there something rather than nothing? Why does mathematics describe reality so perfectly? The renowned physicist Eugene Wigner termed this the unreasonable effectiveness of mathematics. Mathematics, a human invention, a product of our very minds. And yet, it describes the physical universe with astonishing accuracy. Equations, scribbled on paper, predict phenomena that are later confirmed by painstaking experiments. It seems impossible. It shouldn't work, but it does. Einstein perceived this as evidence of something beyond mere chance, not a personal God, meticulously designing things for specific purposes, but rather a deep rationality embedded in the very structure of existence itself. A logos, as the ancient Greeks might have said. A cosmic order, both purposeless in the traditional sense, and yet somehow meaningful in a way that transcends human categories. If this exploration of Albert Einstein's answer to the paradox of purpose has resonated with you, if you sense there are truths here that shift how you think about existence and meaning, then supporting this channel through Super Thanks is how you help these insights reach more people. When you click that button, you are declaring that these deep questions matter. That understanding what the greatest minds truly believed is worth pursuing. That you refuse to accept the shallow answers that most people settle for. The seekers, the questioners, the ones who crave something deeper. You are the reason this channel exists. So, what does Albert Einstein's answer mean for your life? First, it means that you do not need cosmic purpose to have personal meaning. The universe may not care about you. The laws of physics are indifferent to your hopes and dreams, but this does not render your life meaningless. It makes your life yours, to fill with meaning. You are not following a script written by some cosmic author. You are writing your own script, in connection with others who are writing theirs, perhaps in the spirit of Emerson or Thoreau. Second, it means that service to others is the deepest source of purpose. Albert Einstein was not a religious person in the conventional sense, but his ethic was profoundly spiritual. Man is here for the sake of other men. Your happiness depends on others. Your meaning comes from what you give, not just what you receive. In a purposeless universe, we create purpose through love. Third, it means that wonder is a legitimate response to existence. Albert Einstein called the cosmic religious feeling the strongest and noblest motive for scientific research. But you do not need to be a scientist to experience this feeling. You only need to look at the night sky with fresh eyes, to contemplate the improbability of your own existence, to feel the awe that comes from recognizing that you are a conscious being in an ordered universe that did not have to exist at all. Fourth, it means that the question why is less important than the question how. The God of Baruch Spinoza taught Albert Einstein that asking why does the universe exist or why does life exist is asking the wrong question. These why questions assume a purpose that may not even be there, but asking how does the universe work? How did life emerge? How did consciousness arise from matter? These questions are answerable, and answering them brings us closer to the lawful harmony that Albert Einstein identified with the God of Baruch Spinoza. Fifth, it means that you are part of something vast. Albert Einstein wrote that individual existence impresses him as a sort of prison, and he wants to experience the universe as a single significant whole. The boundaries of your ego, the sense that you are separate from everything else. This is what Albert Einstein called elsewhere an optical delusion of consciousness. In reality, you are made of atoms that were forged in stars. You are connected to every other human being who has ever lived. You are a wave in an infinite ocean, temporarily appearing as a separate drop, but never truly separate from the whole. Sixth, it means that the apparent purposelessness of the universe may be a feature, not a bug. A universe designed for us would be a universe in which we are passive recipients of meaning handed down from above. But a universe without inherent purpose is a universe in which we are active creators of meaning. We are not children waiting for a parent to tell us what to do. We are adults who get to decide for ourselves what matters. Seventh, it means that Albert Einstein's answer is not a final answer. It is an invitation to keep asking. Albert Einstein himself never stopped asking, even on his deathbed. He was working on equations, still trying to understand the lawful harmony of all that exists. The question of why life exists in a purposeless universe may never be fully answered, but the asking itself is part of what makes us human. There is one more thing that Albert Einstein understood about this paradox. He understood that the very ability to ask the question is itself part of the answer. Think about it. The universe has existed for nearly 14 billion years. For most of that time, no one asked why, no one wondered about purpose, no one contemplated the mystery of existence. Stars burned and galaxies collided, and black holes devoured matter, all in silence, all without any consciousness to witness it. And then, on one small planet, in one ordinary solar system, in one unremarkable galaxy, something happened. Matter organized itself into patterns complex enough to become aware of itself. Atoms arranged themselves into molecules, molecules into cells, cells into organisms, organisms into beings that could look up at the stars and ask, why? This is the miracle that Albert Einstein sensed. Not that the universe has a purpose, but that the universe has produced beings who search for purpose. Not that there is a God who designed everything for a reason, but that there is a cosmos in which meaning-seeking creatures can arise and create their own reasons. You are one of those creatures. You are the universe becoming aware of itself. You are matter organized into a pattern that can contemplate its own existence. And in your very questioning, in your very search for meaning, you are participating in something that transcends the distinction between purpose and purposelessness. Albert Einstein died on April 18, 1955, still working on his equations, still seeking the unified field theory that eluded him. Just weeks before, his closest friend, Michel Besso, had died. Einstein wrote to Besso's family a poignant message, stating that the distinction between past, present, and future is nothing more than a stubbornly persistent illusion, a trick of the mind. He faced his own death with a remarkable serenity, a quiet acceptance, refusing surgery that might have extended his life. He stated with conviction, "I want to go when I want. It is tasteless, simply tasteless, to prolong life artificially. I have done my share. It is time to go. I will do it elegantly." His last words, tragically, were spoken in German and lost forever, because the nurse who attended him did not speak the language, a silence that echoes through time. But we know what he believed. Deep down, he believed in the God of Baruch Spinoza, the lawful, the immutable harmony of all that exists. Like Emerson's concept of the oversoul, he believed that humanity is here, truly here, for the sake of other men, for the benefit of all. He believed that the cosmic religious feeling, that sense of awe, is the strongest motive for understanding the universe. That this feeling, this deep wonder, drives us to know. And he believed that the most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it is comprehensible at all. Perhaps, just perhaps, that is the final answer to the paradox. The universe, in its vastness, has no inherent purpose, but the universe is comprehensible, and the fact that conscious beings like you and me can arise within a purposeless cosmos and then turn around and comprehend that very cosmos. This, my friends, is the deepest mystery of all. This is the miracle hiding in plain sight, the wonder we often overlook. If this video, in some small way, changed how you think about purpose and existence, if it offered you a new perspective, a fresh lens, on the oldest questions, then I need to hear from you. Comment purpose if you believe life has meaning, even in a seemingly purposeless universe. Comment mystery if you are still searching, still seeking, and this video moved you even one step further on your journey. Comment Einstein if his perspective on cosmic religion, his profound sense of wonder, resonates with your own experience of the sublime. I read every comment in the first 2 hours after posting, and I respond to the ones that show real thought, that show genuine engagement. Tell me what you believe. Tell me how you find meaning in a universe that does not simply hand it to you on a silver platter. Tell me whether Einstein's answer brings you peace or if it raises new questions, new avenues of inquiry. Subscribe if you want to go deeper into the hidden wisdom that the world's greatest minds, like Albert Einstein, left behind. There is so much more to uncover, so much more they never taught you in school. And as Einstein himself wrote, words that still resonate today, the most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. It is the fundamental emotion which stands at the cradle of true art and true science. He who does not know it and can no longer wonder, no longer feel amazement, is as good as dead. I will see you in the next one.